Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch sat down with Sky's political editor Beth Rigby. She asked if voters trust the Conservatives on the economy.
Well, they still trust us more than the other parties. And the reason why is because we have been very clear that we need to make sure the government lives within its means. Fiscal responsibility is important. It means making sure that we leave something for the next generation, not spend it all and leave them with debts and liabilities.
Why do you think that two-thirds of the public don't?
Well, it's quite clear that the public are distrustful of all politicians with the economy. They trust us more than everybody else, and I think that's important. One of the reasons why they trust us more than others is because of things like our golden economic rule. We need to find savings. We spend some of it on getting the deficit and the debt down, and then use the others for things like abolishing stamp duty.
Is it also the record? I know that it's a change of leadership, but is it also the past record?
One of the things that means that they trust us more than other parties is because we are making savings, paying down debt, and also showing how we will stimulate economic activity.
OK. Today you didn't commit to reversing Labour tax rises if they come. So while you're critical of it, you also think it could be necessary for the economy?
No, I don't think it could be necessary. The problem is that once you put on tax rises, you then change the system. Businesses close, things get harder. What she's doing is creating a lot of damage. Rachel Reeves is damaging the economy with tax rises. She promised last year, after the election, after her last budget, that she wouldn't come back for more. She's breaking not just the manifesto promise, but one that she made after the last budget. Why? Because she has not been able to get a grip on the economy, and because the changes she made at the last budget have made everything worse.
And you have argued that point very clearly for many, many months.
And I will continue to do so.
I'm sure you
it's
will.
important that your viewers know.
But there's also something that the Chancellor was arguing about today, which is the productivity downgrade. And that is retrospectively where the Office of Budget Responsibility are now downgrading economic growth in the Conservative years between 2010 and 2024. And the Chancellor is arguing that partly that is why she's going to have to make some difficult decisions in the budget. You've made it very clear about the damage you think her policies a year ago, the biggest tax-raising budget ever, well, sorry, in a generation. But it's not just the choices of the past year, is it? It's also what's happened over the past 14 years under the Conservatives. The public are not going to trust you again if you don't take responsibility.
Do you want me to answer any questions, Beth? Yes. Well, if this was to do with us, why has unemployment risen every single month since Labour came into office? We left unemployment 4 million people more than what we met after the last mess that Labour left. Let's not forget that Labour left a huge mess back in 2010. Let's not forget that we spent every year until the pandemic cutting the deficit. Going back and saying, oh, actually, what happened in 2010 is the reason why we have problems in 2025, quite frankly, doesn't wash. Blame the OBR, blame the last government, blame the mini-budget, blame everybody except herself. This woman needs to take responsibility. She can barely sort out what she's doing with her own property. How is she, if she can't keep an eye on what's happening in her own home, how is she going to run the economy? She cannot.
What viewers would have heard there, though, is that you trying to completely blame the state of the economy on the past year of a Labour government when actually the Office of Budget Responsibility is downgrading growth. I'm just saying, if you don't take some responsibility, then why are the public going to trust you again?
Productivity dropped because of the pandemic. Okay, the Conservatives did not create the pandemic, and quite frankly, if Labour had been in charge, we'd all still be in lockdown. I remember Labour MPs demanding we spend even more that would damage productivity. Labour MPs demanding that we lock down even harder. I remember all of the things that people are saying we did wrong. Labour asked for more of it. So I'm very grateful that Conservatives were in charge.
I'm trying to make the point that if you try and squarely blame all of the economic woes of the UK on the past year without any acknowledgement of what also happened under the Conservative government.
But I have acknowledged those things. But I'm not in government now, Beth. The person in government now needs to take responsibility. Asking the last party to acknowledge this or that is not going to put food on the table. It's not going to get people into jobs. What we need to do now is make sure that we can fix what's going wrong. That's why I'm saying this is how we get Britain working again. I don't have a time machine to go back into the past. Of course we got things wrong, but at least I'm humble enough to say that. When will Rachel Reeves admit that she's got anything wrong? When will Rachel Reeves admit that she's got anything wrong? She is the Chancellor, not me.
I've got a final question. You're announcing big cuts to the welfare bill and cuts that Labour have dodged, having failed to get it through Parliament. What about the triple lock? More than half of welfare spending is on pensioners. The OBR says that the triple lock's unsustainable and the annual cost of this policy will hit £15.5 billion by 2030. Do you agree it should be reviewed?
So the health and sickness benefits are going to get to £100 billion. If we get people off work or off benefits and into work, we don't just stop paying them benefits, they also contribute to the economy. Changing the triple lock doesn't create growth. That is why that is not our policy. Conservatives brought in the triple lock. What will create growth is getting people into work.
Ask you then,
We've got to get Britain working again.
I hear that clearly. Do you recommit to the triple lock then?
I've done so. I have said Conservative policy is the triple lock. If we want to get our economy growing again, if we want to get Britain working again, changing things with the triple lock is not where to start. Start with welfare. There are people who are getting welfare who shouldn't be getting it. Let's get them into work.